The answer key for the chapter 8 part of the review. The test will be on chapter 7 and 8, but 8 we only spent one day because it's just being able to plug into a formula. The formulas are right here on the review. So any type of three-dimensional figures with straight sides that go straight up and parallel bases is going to be the area of the base times the height. And we know a circle is pi times the radius squared. So the formula for volume of a cylinder is pi times the radius squared times the height. So we're going to use that on these problems. So on this first one, it was supposed to say number 1. I know the radius is 25 inches. The height is 40 inches. So I'm going to do pi, and we're going to use 3.14 for pi, times the radius squared, so times 25 squared, times the height, and the height is 40 inches. I'm going to multiply all of those together. Make sure if you're using order of operations, you have to do the 25 squared first, but if you type it into your calculator just like that, it should work. And then times 40. So this is going to be 78,500. Whenever we're doing volume, our units need to be cubic. So it's going to be cubic inches because we're seeing how many 1 inch by 1 inch little cubes would fit inside of here. And that's not exact because we rounded pi, but it's pretty close. Number 2 is a little bit different because it doesn't give us the radius, it gives us the diameter. So if the diameter is 10 feet, what's the radius? It's going to be 5 because it's half of the diameter. So we're going to do pi, which is 3.14, times the radius, which is 5 squared, times the height, which is 21. So 3.14 times 5 squared times 21 is going to give us 1,648.5 cubic feet. Number 3 says find the volume of a cylinder whose diameter is 15 centimeters and whose height is 10 centimeters. That means if the diameter is 15, that means the radius is 7.5 because it's half of the diameter. So I'm going to do pi, or use 3.14 to estimate pi, times 7.5 squared times the height, 3.14 times 7 squared times 10. Oops, I forgot to do 7.5 squared. 7.5. You got 1,766 and 25 hundredths square centimeters. Okay, this one says find the volume of the outer cylinder if the inner cylinder is hollow. So this is like a tube where the inside is drilled out. So I'm going to have to find the volume of the big cylinder and the volume of the little cylinder and subtract it. So I'm going to do the big one first. It's going to be pi again times the radius squared, and the radius of the big cylinder is 24 times the height, and that would be 3.14 times 24 squared times the height. So it's 18,086 and 4/10 cubic inches. And then I'm going to do the little cylinder. So the little cylinder has a radius of 2 inches. I think this was supposed to be a 2.4. If it is a 2.4 though, that's only going to change our answer a little bit, hopefully. 3.14 times 2.4 squared times 10. It just changes the decimal point. So the decimal point is not right here. It's right here. So 180.86 cubic inches. Now I need to do the little one. The little one's going to be pi times the radius squared times the height, which is still 10. So I have 3.14 times 2 squared is 4 times 10 is 125.6 cubic inches. So to find this tube part that's hollowed out, we're going to have to subtract 180.864 minus 125.6. That gives me 55 0.264. Doesn't say which round to it, so I'm just going to leave it cubic inches. Okay, moving on to the volume of a cone. It's the same formula except for you just divide by 3 at the end. So again, it's the area of the base times the height divided by 3, but we know the area of the base is pi r squared because the base is a circle, times height and divided by 3. I can't read that bottom radius, so I'm just going to say that it is 6 feet. I don't know what it's supposed to be. So let's do, it's going to be pi 3.14 times the radius squared. The radius is 6 times the height is 18, and then we always divide by 3 for cones. So 3.14 times 6 squared times the height divided by 3 is 678.24. It's still going to be cubic units anytime we're finding volume. Number 2 is finding the volume of this cone. Only on this one it says the diameter is 10, so the radius is going to be 5, and this is 7. So I'm going to do pi 3.14 times the radius squared times the height divided by 3. So 3.14 times 5 squared times the height divided by 3 is 183.16 repeating centimeters cubed, or cubic centimeters. Okay, the reason is a little different. It says that the volume of a cone is 366.3 cubic inches. Find the height of the cone. So this one I already know the volume, so I'm going to plug this volume in my formula for V. So it's going to be 366.3 equals, I know pi is going to be 3.14. You would have to know the radius in order to be able to do this problem. So I'm going to say that the radius is 10. Let's say the radius is 10 inches. So times 10 squared times the height divided by 3. So I would simplify all of this stuff over here before I try to figure out what h is. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 10 squared. That's 314 divided by 3 is 104.6 repeating, or 104 and 2/3. So I'm going to say 366.3 equals 104 and 2/3 times h. And the reason I put it as a fraction is because I can't type a repeating decimal into my calculator. If you type in 0.6, it'll be pretty close, but not exact. This will be more accurate. Now I'm going to use the party wall. So to get h by itself, I'm going to divide by 104 and 2/3. So 366.3 divided by 104 and 2/3 is about 3.5. So 3.5 inches is going to be the height, and it's just going to be inches, not cubic inches or squared inches, because height is a length. So anytime you're doing just a length, it's one dimensional, then it's just going to be inches. Okay, then all we have is volume of a cone, sphere, sphere. It's 4/3 pi r cubed. Hemisphere, we're just going to divide by 2 because it's half of a sphere. So for this problem right here, I'm going to do 4/3 times pi, which is 3.14 times 9 cubed. So 4/3 times 3.14 times 9 cubed is 3,052.08. And then the unit should be centimeters cubed, or cubic centimeters, since we're still doing volume. The next one is only half of a sphere, so we're going to use this formula, or just divide by 2 at the end. The other thing important to note is that they gave us the diameter, not the radius.